everybody. My name is Paul. There I work with Mike Pearl on the Numismatic team, and he's also here. What's up, Mike?
Hey, everybody. My name is Mike Pearl. I work here at Foe & Son in New York City. I'm actually the practice leader for the Numismatics and Precious Metals Insurance Department. And just before we get into it, I wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to Greg Hannigan of CoinCube Trading, just for bringing us into the organization and for allowing us to be part of your really great community.
Thank you, Mike. Today we're gonna touch two things that we got a lot of questions about. First thing's gonna be what's happening in the country right now, and the second we're gonna talk a little bit about shipping. But before that, let's maybe start. Mike, how did you get involved in the coin community? How was your start? And yeah, tell me a little bit more about that, please.
Sure. So it's all from insurance. I was involved by working with jewelers, resale jewelers, wholesale jewelers, diamond dealers from an insurance perspective. So it's called Jewelers Block Insurance. I'm here in New York City. Foe & Son is a New York City-based company, and we work a lot with people in the jewelry and diamond industry because that's what's here in New York City. A number of years ago, I started attending some of the numismatic big conventions around the country, the Fun Show, the ANA Show, and I loved it. And I found out that there was a great opportunity to provide really strong insurance coverage for these dealers. People are buying and selling coins and currency and essentially numismatists. So for a number of years now, we've been experts, specialists in what we call numismatics and precious metals insurance.
And I don't need to tell anybody how I got in, because that's what you know, because you brought me in. And let's get right to the agenda. So with all the things that are happening right now, a lot of our clients, a lot of people we know in the community are worried about property damage, the theft that is going on. What is your take maybe from an insurance perspective on all of this?
Sure. So it's an interesting conversation. So what we do is we provide what's called inventory or stock insurance. Okay. If you're a coin dealer, currency dealer, a jeweler, an art dealer, anything like that, specifically though, we're focusing on coins, currency, and precious metals. We provide stock inventory insurance. Okay. So that means theft, fire, water damage, anything of that sort that physically could happen to your property is what we are insuring. The question, though, that's come forward as of late is, well, I've been hearing terms like civil unrest, looting, terrorism. Am I covered for these things? What does my policy cover? What does it not cover, right? So to make it very simple, if you have an inventory insurance policy similar to what we do, which is a Lloyd's of London policy, the answer is, as long as you have this inventory insurance, you are covered for the situations that we're seeing out around the country right now. Whether you call it looting or civil unrest or just property destruction, whatever term you want to give it, that's going to be covered for the most part by your insurance program, okay? What people are asking about is terrorism. That word gets thrown around a little loosely nowadays. And they are asking if terrorism is covered. Well, the big distinction, though, is what's going on terrorism or not? From an insurance perspective, is how we're going to talk about this. What is going on in the country, looting and destruction and theft, that is not terrorism. And if you do not have terrorism coverage under your policy, you should still be covered by your inventory insurance policy.
That's great information, because a lot of questions we got were that people ask, do we need TRIA coverage now? It's now the time to buy it, but as I understood you, it is not necessary.
Yeah, so you mentioned an interesting point there. So TRIA, okay, that is a term that we in the insurance industry use a lot. TRIA is an acronym which stands for terrorism insurance, essentially. It's something that started in 2001, and it is the distinction between having coverage for an act of terrorism and not having coverage for an act of terrorism. The important thing, and it's very important for what people are asking about now, is is the situation terrorism? Is it what we call TRIA? The answer is no. What's going on right now is not terrorism. It is not TRIA. In order for terrorism insurance to come into place, which is TRIA, the act has to actually be a certified government act. Whether it's domestic or it's a foreign act of terrorism, it actually has to be certified by 3 governmental organizations. It's the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the Attorney General concurrently need to deem this act, whatever it may be, terrorism. What we're seeing now is not terrorism, which means if you don't have TRIA, you don't have terrorism coverage. That, for this situation, is okay as long as you have proper inventory insurance in place.
Okay, that's an interesting view. Oh, another thing, let's come to something else that has been a big concern for a lot of coin dealers in the past, which is shipping, and that a lot of carriers do not obtain signatures like FedEx, UPS, and sometimes just leave it in front of the door. We got a lot of questions regarding that. What is your take on all of that?
Sure. So it's a great question. So signature on packages has always been an issue with the carriers that we're insuring. It's become a bigger issue as of late, really for the last 3 months now. So with COVID-19, we're seeing around the country that carriers, primarily FedEx and UPS, are often cases not obtaining signatures when delivering packages because they want to socially distance, which of course is very reasonable.
Yeah.
So rather than obtaining a signature, they might leave a package. So the question that our clients are having is, well, am I covered in that situation? The key thing about this is intent. Intent is key for your insurance coverage. When you as the dealer or the seller are shipping a package to the buyer, whomever they may be, and you request signature with FedEx or UPS, your intent is to obtain signature. If FedEx or UPS or whomsoever take it upon themselves not to actually obtain that signature when they deliver the package, and they leave the package and it gets stolen, that is not your fault, and you would be covered by your insurance policy. Again, given that you have a good inventory insurance policy that includes proper shipping coverage and other conditions generally apply. But the most important factor is you request signature. You also request appropriate signature. What I mean by that is there are levels of signature one can request with their package. You can do sometimes what's called indirect signature. That is not what we're talking about. A signature means direct signature that the carrier obtains from the buyer, the recipient of the package. There's also things like adult signature. That's another step up, which is great. That means actually that it's direct signature, plus they'll usually request ID from the individual so you know it's going to the right person.
Yeah.
Point being, intent is for the signature to be obtained, and then you're covered by your insurance policy.
Thank you very much for the explanation. It even helped me. And,
no problem.
We really appreciate everybody who was listening and watching this. We really look forward to getting more of those questions, because I think we could really help with those kind of videos and live streams, and really appreciate your time. Is there anything you want to add, Mike?
Yeah, we intend to do a follow-up video or maybe even a live stream with Greg at CoinCube Trading. And what we'd like is if people send us their questions, if it's about shipping, it's about terrorism or looting type of insurance, send us a Facebook message to Mike Pearl or Paul DeRegal, or you can send us an email anytime, or give me a call, and we're happy to answer your questions. And we'll also send out our contact information so everybody has it. That's all. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye, guys.